For as long as I could remember, I had always been curious about the mysteries of the universe. Even as a child, while others asked simple questions about the world around them, my mind drifted to bigger, stranger puzzles. What's out there? Are we alone? Could there really be other forms of life beyond Earth? I devoured every documentary, every article, every theory about extraterrestrial life. I studied stars through backyard telescopes until my eyes burned. I lay awake at night, imagining distant galaxies and civilizations far beyond our own. Yet, despite my fascination, I was never sure what to believe. Science seemed to point in all directions at once. Some claimed the vastness of the cosmos made alien life almost certain. Others argued we were alone, a fluke of existence in a cold, empty universe. Religion, too, offered no clear answer, at least not one that ever satisfied the ache of my curiosity. So I lived my life in that tension, craving proof but never finding it. I went on with my everyday routine, working a job that barely inspired me, scrolling endlessly through social media, and occasionally glancing up at the stars with the same old longing in my chest. I wondered if I would ever know the truth while I still had breath in my lungs. Never did it occur to me that my answer would come through death. It was supposed to be an ordinary day. I woke up late, rushed through my morning, and barely managed to grab my keys as I hurried out the door. I remember feeling a little off, but I brushed it aside. Life is always a bit chaotic, I thought. Nothing out of the ordinary, but then everything changed in a flash. A car accident. Swift, brutal, and final. I didn't even have time to be afraid. The moment of impact stole my breath, and with it, my life. Everything faded into darkness so quickly, it felt like slipping into a deep sleep without dreams. For a brief second, I thought that was the end. I thought my consciousness would dissolve into nothingness, that my existence would simply blink out like a light switched off in an empty room. But I was wrong. So very wrong, because the next thing I knew, I was somewhere else. Somewhere impossible. The place I found myself in defied explanation. It was like waking up inside light itself, a brilliant, pulsating radiance that seemed to breathe with life. The air, if you could call it that, felt pure and alive. Colors danced around me, not just seen with the eyes, but felt deep within my soul. And in the midst of this impossible beauty, I realized something even more astonishing. I was not alone. At first, I thought it was an angel, or perhaps even some manifestation of divine glory. But as my vision adjusted, I saw her, a being unlike anything I had ever imagined. She radiated both familiarity and otherness, a strange blend of something human-like, yet entirely beyond it. Her eyes were deep pools of knowledge, ancient yet filled with compassion. An alien. Yes, an alien. There was no other word to describe her. My heart raced, my mind reeled, every belief I had ever held crashing against this undeniable reality. I thought I would feel fear, but instead, I felt something far more unsettling. Recognition, as though, on some deep, hidden level, I had always known I would meet her. And then she spoke. Her voice gentle yet filled with immense authority, resonating not just in my ears, but within the very core of my being. "You have questions," she said, "and the answers are not what you expect." In that instant, I felt the ground of my understanding shift beneath me, and I realized with chilling certainty, whatever she was about to tell me would change everything, forever. The moment she spoke, something inside me, something buried and ancient, stirred awake. Her voice was like a melody I had somehow heard before but forgotten, as though my soul recognized it long before my mind could grasp its meaning. She radiated a wisdom that felt timeless, beyond anything humanity could comprehend. My heart thudded in my chest, not out of fear, but out of a strange anticipation, like I stood on the edge of a great unveiling. "Yes," I managed to whisper, my voice trembling with the weight of my unspoken questions. "I've always had questions. Are we really alone? Are you from another planet? Have you been watching us all this time?" Her gaze, filled with unfathomable depth, softened, as though she carried a sorrow that stretched across galaxies. She paused before answering, as if choosing her words with great care. "We have watched," she said gently, "but not as you imagine. not as invaders, not as conquerors, but as witnesses. Her words rippled through me like a wave, stirring a mixture of relief and deeper curiosity. Then you've seen our wars, our hatred, our violence, I said, my voice catching in my throat. You've seen what we've done to ourselves, to our world. She nodded, her expression clouded with sadness. Yes, we have seen. A heavy silence stretched between us, filled with things too immense for words. I felt the weight of her sorrow, not as an outsider looking in, but as one who carried the burden of knowledge too great for mortal minds. Are there others like you? I pressed on, desperate to understand. Other civilizations? Other worlds? Her answer came not with excitement, but with a quiet gravity that froze me in place. There are others, she confirmed. Worlds beyond worlds, civilizations beyond counting. But understand this, child of Earth, no matter how far they have traveled, no matter how advanced their knowledge, no one escapes the Creator. Her words landed like thunder in my soul. The Creator? I repeated, my heart quickening. You mean God? She nodded once more, slowly, solemnly. Yes, the one you call God. The one who made all worlds, all life, all existence itself. We too were made by his hand. We too answer to his authority. The realization shook me more than anything else had. For so long, I had assumed that alien life, if it existed, would somehow replace or contradict the idea of God. I had thought the discovery of other beings would prove that humanity was not special, not unique, not the center of creation. But now I saw how wrong I had been. Far from disproving God's existence, her presence confirmed it in a way that no sermon, no book, no doctrine ever had. You believe in him, I whispered, almost afraid to say the words aloud. Her eyes glistened and she stepped closer as though to ensure I heard every word with perfect clarity. We do not merely believe, she said. We know. We have seen his power. We have witnessed his glory, and we tremble before him as all creation must. A chill spread through me, not from fear of her, but from the awe of what she was revealing. She, this being from beyond the stars, feared the same God I had heard of since childhood, the same God I had pushed to the edges of my mind in search of other answers. What does he want from us? I asked, my voice raw with urgency. Why does he let us wander? Why does he let us search so blindly? Her expression grew even more solemn, and for a moment her luminous eyes seemed to dim with the weight of her reply. Because he desires that you seek him not out of fear of the unknown, but out of love for the truth, she answered. He is patient, beyond your understanding, but his patience is not endless. Her final words in that moment sent a tremor through my entire being, a premonition of what was yet to be revealed. You have been given time, she said softly, but time is not infinite. You must choose. And as she spoke, I felt an urgency rise within me like a tidal wave cresting over the horizon. I had come looking for answers about aliens, about distant worlds and far-off civilizations, but I was beginning to understand that the question was never about them. The real question was about us, about our Creator, and about what we would do with the truth now that it had found us. Her eyes, so deep and ancient, seemed to darken as though clouds had drifted across their luminous depths. I felt it even before she spoke, a shift in the air, a solemn gravity settling over our conversation like a storm descending on a quiet field. You must understand, she began, her voice still soft but heavy with undeniable weight. Our people once walked the same path as yours. The thought stunned me. What do you mean? I asked, my voice tight with anticipation and dread. She paused, as though feeling the enormity of what she was about to confess. Then she said, we too believed in our own power, in our science, in our intellect. We soared among the stars, built wonders, and thought ourselves gods over creation. We believed foolishly that we could outrun the laws that govern all life. My heart pounded in my chest as she continued, her words falling like heavy stones into the quiet expanse between us. But there came a time when the one who made us called us to account. His voice thundered across our skies, his judgment reached our world, and we were left to face the consequence of our pride. I could see it in her eyes then, memories of sorrow too vast for any one being to carry, pain that stretched across eons. "What happened to you?" I whispered, my throat dry. Her gaze never wavered. "We fell," she answered simply. "We fell under the weight of our rebellion, and though some of us were spared, commissioned to witness and warn, many were lost to destruction. We became scattered remnants, testaments to his justice." Her words struck me like thunder. It wasn't just a story about her people, it was a mirror held up to humanity. I thought of our restless ambition, our hunger for progress, our endless pursuit of knowledge with little regard for wisdom. I thought of how easily we dismissed the idea of a creator in our pride, believing we could master the universe without the one who had breathed it into existence. She stepped closer, her expression urgent, almost pleading. "Your world is reaching the same precipice. You too have been given knowledge. You have touched the edges of creation's secrets, but you are turning your discoveries into idols. You worship the works of your hands and forget the one whose hands formed you." I could feel it now, not just in her words, but in the marrow of my soul. She wasn't speaking metaphorically. She was describing what I had seen unfolding every day of my life, what I had sensed but pushed away in the busyness and noise of modern living. "Is it too late for us?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Her answer was immediate, filled with an urgency that sent chills down my spine. "Not yet, but your time is short." Her eyes burned with intensity as she added, "You stand at the threshold of decision. Your world races toward its reckoning, unaware, unheeding of the signs written across the heavens and the earth. But there is still hope if you turn, if you seek the one who made you, if you humble yourselves before him, he will yet show mercy." I swallowed hard, the reality settling over me like a heavy cloak. "How do we do that?" I asked desperately. "What must we do to avoid what happened to you?" Her gaze softened, and for a fleeting moment, I saw not just the alien messenger before me, but something far deeper, a creation of God, just like me, yearning to see others spared from the fate her people had suffered. "You must seek him," she said firmly. "You must turn from your pride, from your idolatry, from your rebellion. Call upon his name while you still have breath, while time remains. He is merciful, but his mercy is not forever delayed." And then she paused, as if weighing whether to say what came next. Her eyes met mine with a final, piercing intensity. "There is one name," she said slowly, deliberately, "that all creation, every world, every nation, and every soul must acknowledge. It is the name above all names." She looked deep into my soul, and then she spoke the name that resonated through the very fabric of existence itself. Jesus. The moment she said it, a shock wave of truth coursed through me. I felt it in every fiber of my being, not just knowledge, but absolute certainty. He is not just the Lord of earth, he is the Lord of all creation, of every world, of every living soul, and the time to choose him was now. The name she had spoken continued to echo within me, not just in my ears, but deep in the very core of my soul. Jesus. It reverberated like thunder across the landscape of this strange, radiant place. I felt it awaken something long dormant inside me, a recognition that had always been there, buried beneath layers of doubt, distraction, and endless searching. For so long, I had looked to the stars for answers, believing the truth I sought might lie in some distant galaxy, with some advanced civilization far removed from our own. But here, in this unexpected meeting, I saw clearly for the first time. The answers I craved had always been nearer than I realized. Her eyes, filled with both sorrow and a strange hope, remained fixed on mine. She could see it, the awakening within me, the crumbling of old walls, the quiet acceptance of truth that had resisted for too long. "Tell them," she said, her voice gentle but carrying the weight of a command that could not be disobeyed. "Tell them that they are not alone. Tell them that the universe itself bears witness to His glory. Tell them that time is shorter than they think. I wanted to weep, not from fear, but from the overwhelming clarity that flooded my mind and heart. All my life, I had searched for signs, for proof, for something tangible to confirm the restless longing in my spirit. And now, not only had I been shown the truth, but I was being sent back to deliver it. But will they believe me? I asked, my voice barely more than a whisper, her gaze softened, full of compassion. Some will. Some have been waiting, just as you waited. Some will recognize the truth because their hearts have been prepared to receive it. Others will mock you, dismiss you, and close their eyes to the signs all around them. She reached out, and though her hand looked so different from my own, when it touched me, I felt no division between us, no barrier of race, species, or origin. We were both creations of the same hand, both bound by the same destiny, both loved by the same Creator. It does not matter how many believe, she said softly but firmly. What matters is that you speak. What matters is that you warn them. What matters is that you tell them the truth about Jesus. As she spoke His name once more, I felt something like fire burn within me. Not fire that destroys, but fire that purifies, that ignites purpose and drives out fear. I knew I could not remain here. As much as I wanted to stay in this place of clarity, of revelation, my time here was ending. You must go back, she confirmed, as if hearing my thoughts. Your task is not finished. Your voice is needed in the world of the living. The brilliant surroundings began to fade, not like a dream slipping away, but like a curtain being drawn back to reveal a familiar stage. My heart pounded, my mind raced, and just before the light dimmed completely, she spoke one final haunting truth. All creation will answer to Him, she said. Every star, every planet, every life form in the vast expanse of the universe, but you, child of Earth, you have been chosen to carry this message home. And then, I was falling, not in fear, not in panic, but in purpose, falling back into my body, back into the cold reality of the world I had left behind. My eyes snapped open. Air filled my lungs. My heart thundered in my chest as I gasped for breath, tears streaming down my face. I was alive. Against every odd, I was alive. But I was not the same. I carried with me the weight of revelation. The weight of a message meant not just for me, but for every ear willing to listen, every heart open to truth. We are not alone. The universe declares His glory, and there is only one name by which we are saved: Jesus. If you hear these words, know this: He is not just the Lord of our small, spinning planet. He is the Lord of every world, of every living being, of all existence itself. He calls you now, while there is still time. While the door to mercy remains open, turn to Him. Seek Him. Call upon His name before it is too late. Because time is not infinite, and eternity is closer than you think.